I mean, you saw the intro. If that's not enough to convince you to try this game, then I don't know. God of War came out in 2018 as a PlayStation exclusive. Sorry, Xbox players. At least you guys still got Halo? Infinite is pretty fun. And this game also won Game of the Year in 2018 over games like Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2. And Red Dead 2 is many people's favorite game of all time, so that should speak to the quality of game this is. I did play this game a couple years ago, but I was waiting to make a video on it because the game just released on PC as well, and everyone is starting to get hyped about the sequel God of War Ragnarok that is coming out this year. Now, even though this did come out on PC, I kinda already owned the game on PlayStation, and I just got a PS5 recently, so I wanted to flex that a little bit and see what it was all about. And seriously, this is one of the best looking games you can play. The video does it nowhere near justice. Just what a stunning game. I couldn't get over how good it looks and feels. This is the 4th main installment in the God of War series, and essentially a soft reboot. The main character is still Kratos, of course, except in this game he's much older. He has a son and he lives in Midgard, so we've gone from Greek to Norse mythology. Now, admittedly, I haven't played the original God of War games. I really want to, but PlayStation doesn't have backwards compatibility for PS3 games, so the only one I can play is God of War 3 because that got a remaster. And sure, there is PS Now, but I really don't like it. You need a constant internet connection, and it keeps the games in their original resolutions, so it's like 640p. And although I haven't played the old games, I still know the backstory and everything with Kratos and his vengeance. I've seen a lot of clips and stuff, but playing this definitely makes me want to go back and play the older games as well, so let me know if you want to see that. Yeah, I'm definitely playing this. But anyways, back to God of War. I played through the whole game again, did a lot of the extra side content, the Valkyrie bosses and everything. And I'm gonna give you guys my honest thoughts on the game and convince you to play it if you haven't yet, because wow, what a game.
Wow. Never been this close to the mountain before. Looks so big. Wish Mom was here to see it.
Like I said, God of War takes place in the later years of Kratos' life as he settled down in Midgard and started a family trying to forget his past. When his wife dies, Kratos and his son Atreus head out to fulfill her dying wish and scatter her ashes atop the mountain in Midgard. This game leans heavily into the relationship and dynamic between Kratos and his son Atreus. Kratos is trying to teach Atreus how to survive and become a warrior for the dangerous path that awaits them on their way to the mountain. It's heavy, it's emotional, it's beautiful, and extremely captivating. It's a story that anyone can understand and become emotionally invested in, even if you haven't played the other God of War games. Kratos learning to be a father and dealing with the struggles of raising and teaching a young boy all on his own is just so deep. Meanwhile, Atreus is devastated by the death of his mother, and the only person he can rely on is his tough, strict father, who never really took the time to connect with him. The bond and dynamic of these two is what makes this game and its story so good. It's the core of it all, and how it changes and develops throughout can only be described as beautiful. And while Kratos may have softened a little in his old age, make no mistake, the man is still a total badass. He has one of the coolest voices ever that's so fun to mimic. Help me out, boy. But of course, there's more to this story than just Kratos and Atreus. There's some really fun and unique side characters as well. The dwarf brothers, Brock and Sindri, who have a family feud going on and run separate forging businesses, provide some much needed comic relief. There's the witch in the woods, the talking head Mimir, who's great as well, and Baldur, who's a really cool antagonist. It's a small but very rich cast of characters that all bring their own contributions to the story. And overall, the story is phenomenal. It'll put you through a ringer of emotions and stun you with its gorgeous cutscenes and set pieces. Seriously, the cinematography in this game is among the best I've seen in video games. It's really easy to get hooked and immersed into the story and world, and will quickly turn you from this into this. Now, the story is obviously very important, but if the game isn't fun to play, then you're likely not going to enjoy it, and luckily, in God of War's case, the gameplay is also great. Kratos has a new weapon, the Leviathan Axe, which looks awesome. It kind of works like Mjolnir. You can throw it and call it back to you. You can, of course, use all kinds of different moves, stances, and combos with it. You get a shield for blocking and parrying. Atreus helps you out where you can command him to shoot shock or light arrows, and he can even summon spectral beasts. All of this being customizable, by the way. And you even eventually get Kratos' signature weapons, the Blades of Chaos, which are really fun to use as well and are a nice refresher to the gameplay. There's the Spartan Rage that builds up over time, and once activated, you become resistant to damage, regain health, and deal massive damage with light and heavy attacks. Not to mention, you can also fight barehanded if you want to go for stuns and finishers, which look so sick, by the way. Boom! Pretty much everything involving combat has its own skill tree. The Leviathan Axe, the shield, barehanded combat, the Blades of Chaos, Spartan Rage, and even Atreus' bow and arrows. You can unlock new moves, combos, and skills, providing for a very nice progression system as you become more accustomed to the combat and all the different forms of attack. Both your Leviathan Axe and Blades of Chaos get runic attacks, which are like these special moves that deal significant amounts of stun or damage, which can also be upgraded to be made more effective. The weapons themselves can also be upgraded with frozen and chaos flames that you'll find while playing the game. You can also change and upgrade the pommels of each weapon for an increase in stats and a special perk. You can customize and upgrade your armor with chest, waist, and wrist armor pieces, all with different rarities, enchantment slots, stats, and perks. Enchantments are little boosts you can place within your armor that help boost your stats or give you special skills or enhancements. For example, faster sprint or dodge speed, increased stun damage. There's a lot of enchantments, each with their own unique perks and rarities as well. I really like how the armor in this game gives you the freedom to create your own build. For example, I went with a strength and defense build, so I mainly got the armor that had the best stats for those categories. A lot of games try to do this and claim to give you the freedom to create your own build, and God of War is one of the few that I feel actually delivers on that and makes it feel fully customizable. There's even talismans that have special power-ups. I had one that slowed down time, or another that created a ring of fire. They do all sorts of things, and just like everything else, they're upgradable and have different rarities. You can even craft new armor for Atreus and upgrade his Talon bow. The combat and progression system has so much depth and complexity to all of it, and it's very satisfying and rewarding to customize it all. I love going out exploring for items and hack silver to craft new armor sets and get new enchantments. There's tons of incentive to do all the extra stuff to become as powerful as you can, which is necessary, especially if you're playing on the higher difficulties. This game also has a ton of enemy types. Lots of variety, each with different strengths and weaknesses, like the Draugrs being weaker to the Leviathan Axe, and Hellwalkers being weaker to the Chaos Blades. However, the boss fights were probably my favorite parts of the gameplay. The boss fights are excellently designed, each one being challenging, unique, and varied, not to mention looking tremendously visually speaking. Oh my! I do wish there were a few more boss fights in the main story because they are really fun, but the Valkyries are more than enough if you're looking for more boss fights outside the main story. God of War isn't an open world game. There's a lot of linear sections, but there's also a lot of open sections once you get to a certain part of the game where you're given the freedom to go explore the different islands. I think God of War did a really good job of balancing both the linear and non-linear sections of the world, and it proves that not every game these days needs to be an open world to be good. And the entire world design and building of the game is just near perfection. There's a massive amount of variety in the environments. There's tons of detail, like seriously. It's crazy to me to think about how long these people worked on these little areas that we only spend about 10 seconds in. Hats off to you, Santa Monica. And while Midgard clearly got the most attention and time, the other realms look great as well, and each are highly distinctive from one another. You can go to Alfheim, Helheim, Muspelheim, and Niflheim. Muspelheim and Niflheim aren't quite as big as the others, and there isn't as much to do, but they still have these fun, almost mini games in them. In Muspelheim, there's a bunch of trials to complete where you can unlock special items specific to the realm, and Niflheim is covered in a cursed mist that slowly kills you over time, and you have to get as many unique items and mist echoes as you can before it does, which you can then use to craft special armor. It gives you plenty to do outside the main story, and there's still your classic side quests, which are called favors, with smaller stories attached to them that have a surprising amount of depth. Most games don't put much detail or lore and story into side quests, but God of War certainly does, and there's a lot of memorable and important moments to be had in the favors. My personal favorite was heading to this isolated island in search of a legendary dwarven armor and discovering the mystery of what happened to the infamous dwarven king who once ruled the island. There's also multiple favors you can do for the different spirits of the departed around the islands of Midgard. There's also little treasure hunts you can do, and the big thing are the Valkyrie boss fights. There are 8 corrupted Valkyries scattered across the several realms you must kill and set free, and then bring all their helmets to the Valkyrie Council. These boss fights can be very hard, but are oh so rewarding when you finally beat them. I honestly had more trouble with the Valkyries than anything from the main story. I do wish there was a little more variety with them, because a lot of them had very similar or even the same movesets, but it's definitely something you can sink a lot of time into, and you're rewarded with a lot of good gear. You can even free dragons in this game. There's quite a lot to do. Most items and currency you'll find in chests. There's multiple different types, like the rune chest, where you have to complete a small little puzzle to open it and destroy the 3 seals. But this game has so many stunning and breathtaking sights and views that I honestly lost count. It's definitely one of those games where you want to take screenshots, and I must say, on 4K 60 FPS, it was an incredibly immersive and smooth experience. God of War's presentation is where it really stands out from other games. Literally from the moment you press the new game, you can tell as the main menu screen is literally like where the game picks up. Such a cool and unique way to start the game. And the entire game does not have a single loading screen. It's completely seamless. It uses clever tricks like shimmying through a wall or going through a portal to avoid loading screens, and does such a great job of keeping the immersion. And the transition from gameplay to cutscene and back to gameplay is unbelievably good. There were times where I couldn't even tell I was in a cutscene because of how smooth and seamless the transitions are. And I've been waiting to bring this up because it's one of my favorite parts of the game, but the set pieces and action design are insanely good. I have never felt more like a Giga Chad when playing a video game before. Let's go, Kratos! What's good? Oh my... This is every cultured man's dream right here. Do you understand? I mean, how many games can look and make you feel this powerful and badass? Not many, and God of War is one of the few. Even the animations, man, I'm floored by how good everything looks. And it almost feels like watching a movie rather than watching a game cutscene sometimes. And the music, oh, the music is fire. It enhances every emotion tenfold and fits the theme and tone of the game so well. What up, Baldur? Okay, surely now you're convinced if you weren't already within the first 10 seconds of the video. I urge you to try this game if you haven't yet. It's on PC and PlayStation now, so hopefully most people get to experience it. Again, I'm sorry Xbox players for your terrible life choices. Nah, chill. I'm joking. I used to be strictly an Xbox player after all. But now's a great time to check out this game. It's on PC now. It has a free PS5 upgrade. And God of War Ragnarok is right around the corner, so maybe you can catch this game on a sale. Actually, it's literally on sale for $10 on the PS Store right now as I'm making this video. That's an absolute steal. And it's even like 13 bucks on Amazon as well for PlayStation. It is still 50 bucks on Steam, but it just came out on PC, so I'd give it a bit more time if you're wishing to pick it up with a sale on PC. But yeah, I hope you're gonna try God of War if you haven't yet. And again, you don't really need to play the older games to understand what's happening. I mean, it certainly helps, but it's not a requirement or anything. I'm most likely gonna check out God of War 3. It looks really cool from what I've seen, so let me know if you guys want to see a video on that. But let me know how you guys feel about God of War in the comments, or if this video helped you out if you haven't played it yet. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you dropped a like on the video and considered subscribing to the channel if you're new here. I make a lot of reviews for tons of different games on my channel. I do plan on Dying Light 2 next, so don't worry if you've been waiting for that. It took me a lot longer for me to finish this game than I thought it would, but other than that, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day, everyone.